What if the greatest waste in your life isn't time or money, but pain? Pain you never learned from. We live in a world obsessed with productivity. People count dollars, track hours, chase youth. We're constantly measuring what we've lost or failed to gain. But almost no one talks about the waste of pain. And yet it's one of the most common, most powerful, and most overlooked experiences every one of us faces. Think about it. We've all been through something: a heartbreak, a betrayal, a dream that fell apart, a silent disappointment that only we knew how deep it cut. And what did we do with those moments? Most of us tried to forget. We rushed past them. We drowned them out with distractions, music, movies, scrolling through our phones, or jumping headfirst into something new, anything that could keep us from sitting in the discomfort. But in doing that, we didn't just bury the pain, we buried the lesson too. You see, pain isn't always a punishment. Sometimes it's a message. Sometimes it's the only thing loud enough to get our attention. It shows up when something in our life demands change, when we've ignored the signs for too long. But here's the thing. If we don't take the time to reflect on our pain, we'll end up repeating it. Different faces, different places, same story. Over and over. This isn't about being negative. This is about being honest. Because if we don't name what hurts us, we can't heal it. And if we can't heal it, we can't grow beyond it. Pain that's unprocessed becomes pain that controls us. It shapes our choices, it filters how we see others, and worst of all, it convinces us to shrink. But what if pain could be more than something we survive? What if it could be something we learn from? What if that heartbreak wasn't just about losing someone, but about finding out what you truly need in a relationship? What if that failure wasn't the end, but the moment that revealed what really matters to you? Pain doesn't leave us the same. The question is whether we come out bitter or better. And that answer depends on what we do with it. Not in the moment it happens, because sometimes it hurts too much to think clearly, but in the moments after, when we can breathe, when the noise fades, when the ache is still there but no longer screaming, that's when we get to choose. Do we ignore it, or do we listen? You want to grow? Start there, with the pain you've been avoiding. It has something to teach you, and if you're willing to listen, really listen, it might just turn out to be the most valuable thing you've ever faced. Here's the truth. Every tear you've shed, every heartbreak you've endured, every rejection you faced, they weren't just unfortunate events. They were invitations to grow. But most people never open that invitation. They crumple it up, toss it aside, and keep moving, hoping time alone will erase what they went through. But time doesn't heal everything. Reflection does. Understanding does. Facing what hurt you and asking why it hurt so deeply, that's where healing begins. That's where growth begins. Pain is a teacher, but only if you choose to be a student. Think about the last time you were really hurt. Maybe it was a breakup that left you questioning your worth. Maybe it was a job you didn't get, even though you gave it everything. Or maybe it was something deeper, something from childhood, a wound you've carried for years but never really unpacked. Whatever it was, it didn't just happen to hurt you. It happened to teach you something. About people, about life, about yourself. Pain carves the space where wisdom grows. It doesn't feel that way when you're in it, I know. In the moment, pain just feels like pain. It doesn't come with a manual. It doesn't explain itself. But over time, if you stay curious, if you sit with it instead of running from it, it starts to speak. And when it does, it reveals truths you couldn't have learned any other way. What you survive doesn't shape you. What you understand from it does. There are people who go through hell and come out bitter. And there are others who go through the same kind of hell and come out wiser, stronger, more grounded. The difference? One of them took the time to reflect. The other just moved on without asking what the pain was trying to say. And I get it. It's not easy. In a world that celebrates speed, productivity, and constant movement, sitting in silence with your pain feels like going against the grain. It feels uncomfortable, but that silence is where growth begins. That discomfort is where character is built, not in the wins, not in the applause, but in the quiet moments when no one's watching, and you're left alone with what hurts, and you decide to learn from it anyway. Let me give you a real-world example. Think about a time when someone let you down, really let you down. At first, it might have felt like betrayal. Maybe it still does. But If you take a step back and ask, what was I expecting from them that they couldn't give? Or why did I put so much of my identity into that relationship? That's where the lesson begins. That's where you shift from pain to wisdom. Or maybe you failed at something you cared about. You tried to launch a business and it fell apart. You trained for a goal and you didn't reach it. In those moments, it's tempting to say, I'm not good enough, or it's just not meant to be. But what if, instead, you asked, what part of that failure can I own? Or what did I miss that I need to pay more attention to next time? That's what it means to meet pain eye to eye. Growth doesn't come from avoiding pain. It comes from meeting it head on. You don't become stronger by pretending nothing happened. You become stronger by facing what did happen and deciding it won't go to waste. You take the loss, the hurt, the embarrassment, and you turn it into a stepping stone. There's a kind of strength that only pain can give you. Not just the strength to endure, but the strength to understand yourself better, to understand others better, to know your limits, to know your values, and most importantly, to know what really matters when life strips everything else away. If you let it, pain will teach you what textbooks never could. It'll show you who your real friends are. It'll reveal where you've placed your worth. It'll uncover the habits that hold you back, the beliefs that no longer serve you, and the boundaries you need to draw. And once you learn these things, not just know them, but truly learn them, your life starts to shift. You stop repeating the same mistakes. You stop chasing people who don't value you. You stop playing small to make others comfortable. You stop hiding because you've been through the fire and you've come out clearer, not colder. So if you're hurting right now, or carrying something that still aches when you think about it, don't rush to get over it. Pause, sit with it. Ask it what it came to teach you. It may not answer right away, but if you keep listening, it will. And when it does, you'll understand. This wasn't just pain. It was a lesson in disguise. A teacher that showed up in the hardest way possible, because sometimes that's the only way we pay attention. Think about the last time you went to the gym or exercised hard. Maybe it was a leg day. Maybe it was your first day back after a long break. You pushed through the reps, you strained through the final set, and the next day, your body ached. Your legs felt heavy. Your muscles were sore. But even in that soreness, you felt proud because you knew it meant progress. You knew that pain had a purpose. You knew it was part of the process. And not only did you expect it, you welcomed it. You even measured your success by how sore you felt. Now pause for a second. Why do we treat emotional pain so differently? When it comes to the body, we chase pain because we trust that it leads to growth. But when it comes to the heart, the mind, the soul, we run from pain like it's something toxic. We label it as weakness. We try to numb it, avoid it, cover it up. But emotional pain is the gym of the soul. And if we could learn to sit with it, to reflect on it, to understand what it's stretching or strengthening inside of us, we would grow in ways no physical workout could ever match. You'll do squats until your legs shake. You'll run until your lungs burn. You'll lift until your arms feel like jelly. But the moment you feel emotional discomfort, grief, rejection, regret, you might pretend it doesn't exist. You distract yourself, you scroll, you binge watch, you move on. But here's the question. Why don't we treat emotional growth with the same intention and respect we give our physical growth? Because truth be told, the hardest weights to lift are invisible. The heaviest reps are the ones inside your chest, the ones that ask you to forgive someone who hurt you, the ones that challenge you to take responsibility for the pain you caused, the ones that make you look in the mirror and say, I need to change. Emotional soreness is just as real and just as necessary as muscle soreness. That tightness you feel in your chest when you remember what happened, that sting in your gut when you realize you ignored a red flag, that ache behind your eyes when a memory comes back uninvited, it's all part of the rebuilding process. But only if you let it be. Imagine if you stopped every workout the moment you felt discomfort. You'd never get stronger. And yet, that's exactly what we do with inner pain. We stop the moment it starts to hurt. We call it a sign to retreat, when really it's a sign we're finally hitting the part of ourselves that needs the most work. We don't grow in comfort, not physically, not emotionally. Growth requires stress, pressure, and strain. But here's the difference. In the gym, we track our reps. We push through. We have a goal. We know the pain means we're getting somewhere. Emotional pain is no different. It just requires a different kind of discipline, a willingness to reflect, to write, to talk it out, to sit in silence with it instead of running away. And let's be honest, emotional pain builds something even more valuable than muscles. It builds resilience. It builds patience. It builds empathy. It makes you softer in all the right ways and stronger in all the right places. It teaches you how to hold space for someone else's pain. It teaches you to spot your blind spots. It reminds you of your limits and your values. Emotional pain, when processed, becomes emotional intelligence. You wouldn't judge someone for sweating in the gym. So why judge yourself for struggling through grief, anxiety, or heartbreak? Why see emotional struggle as weakness when it's often a sign that you're stretching into a stronger version of yourself? Every sore muscle is a reminder that you moved. Every sore emotion is a reminder that you cared, that you dared, that you lived. So the next time life breaks your heart, humbles your ego, or makes you cry, don't just try to shake it off. Ask yourself, what is this pain building in me? And just like the gym, don't expect the results overnight. You won't see the full transformation in a day or even a week. But if you keep showing up, if you keep doing the inner reps, over time, you'll notice something. You'll feel different. You'll respond differently. You'll carry yourself with a deeper calm, a wiser strength. That's the result of emotional muscle. That's the result of not wasting your pain. So the next time you're hurting, don't ask how to get rid of the pain. Ask what it's trying to grow in you. Treat it with the same discipline, the same respect, and the same purpose you'd bring to any physical challenge. Because emotional growth might not leave you with six-pack abs, but it'll give you something far more powerful. Peace, perspective, and a strength that doesn't fade. Grab a notebook. Go back to that breakup, that rejection, that failure. Not to relive the pain, but to learn from it. Sit down with it like it's a case study. What happened? What was your role in it? What did you overlook? What was trying to warn you that you ignored? What pattern showed up that has shown up before? This is not about blame. It's about insight. It's about clarity. Because pain without reflection becomes a cycle, but pain with reflection becomes a lesson. There's a reason we keep ending up in the same situations, facing the same types of people, feeling the same kind of disappointment. It's not just bad luck. It's unexamined habits. It's emotional patterns that have been running the show without us realizing it. And the only way to break that cycle is to start connecting the dots, to ask better questions, to stop just feeling our pain and start studying it. What did I lose? What did I learn? What did I allow? What should I have walked away from sooner? What conversations did I avoid? What behavior of mine contributed to the outcome? These aren't easy questions, but they are necessary. They are the questions that lead us out of the loop. Let's say you've had more than one relationship end the same way. Communication breakdown, trust issues, emotional distance. Instead of blaming the other person or deciding love just isn't for you, try this. Write down what was true in each relationship. Where did things go wrong? What kind of person were you drawn to? What kind of person were you trying to be? What did you put up with that you shouldn't have? What needs of yours did you ignore just to keep the peace? What kind of love were you giving? And what kind were you accepting? Patterns are powerful, but they are only powerful when we let them run in the background. Once we bring them into the light, once we name them, their grip starts to loosen. Because awareness changes everything. You can't unsee a pattern once you've seen it clearly. And once you see it, you can change it. This goes beyond relationships. It applies to your career, your friendships, your self-talk, your decision-making. Maybe you've been turned down for jobs and you always say it's because I'm not lucky. But have you looked at your preparation, your mindset, the way you speak about yourself in interviews? Maybe you're stuck in financial patterns, overspending, avoiding bills, living paycheck to paycheck. Have you stopped to ask, what belief do I have about money that keeps me stuck here? Did someone teach me that success isn't for people like me? Did I grow up thinking financial struggle is normal and expected? You see, every behavior has a root. Every habit has a reason. And if we keep responding to pain emotionally, crying, complaining, running, we miss the opportunity to investigate. We miss the wisdom hiding underneath. So clean out the attic. Go back and look at the moments you usually try to forget. Not to dwell, but to document. Write it down. Make it plain. Track the patterns. Trace the behaviors. You are not a victim of life happening to you. You are a participant. And when you take responsibility for your part, no matter how small, you reclaim your power. This doesn't mean blaming yourself for everything. It means taking ownership of the only thing you can control: your awareness, your response, your willingness to do the inner work. Reflection is not about being hard on yourself. It's about being honest with yourself. And yes, it takes courage. It's uncomfortable to admit that you've been here before, that you saw the signs but didn't listen, that the pain you're in today might be connected to the choices you made yesterday. But discomfort is the cost of growth, and awareness is the beginning of freedom. You don't have to be perfect to change your life. You just have to be aware. You just have to notice what's been happening, write it down, connect the dots, and decide, this ends with me. This pattern, this story, this cycle, I see it now, and I won't let it run my life anymore. So the next time you feel like life is repeating itself, take a pause. Don't ask, why is this happening to me again? Ask, what is this trying to teach me that I haven't learned yet? And when you start asking that question consistently, your pain becomes your path, your patterns become your plan, and your past becomes the greatest tool you've ever had to build a better future. If you tripped over the same rock twice, the problem isn't the rock anymore. It's your refusal to remember where it was. The first fall is a mistake. The second is a choice. That might sound harsh, but it's true. Life will keep sending us the same lessons, wrapped in different people, different jobs, different situations, until we finally learn, until we finally do something different. This part of the journey is not about talking, journaling, or thinking. It's about doing. It's about applying what you've realized and living in a way that reflects the lesson. It's not just about feeling better. It's about doing better. It's not enough to say you've healed from something if you still walk right back into it. Growth demands more than reflection. It demands change. Maybe you've already done the hard work. You've faced the pain. You've connected the dots. You've seen the pattern. Now comes the moment of truth. Will you live differently because of it? Will you honor the wisdom you've earned with new behavior? Don't just heal. Learn. Healing gets you back on your feet. Learning changes how you walk. It's one thing to cry over the past. It's another thing to stand up and move forward without repeating it. Emotional maturity means catching yourself before you step into the same old trap. It means knowing what your red flags are and honoring them. It means recognizing when someone or something feels too familiar, and not in a good way. It means saying no earlier, leaving sooner, speaking up faster, and trusting your gut more often. Let's be real. The hardest part of growth isn't understanding what went wrong. It's choosing not to go back to it. It's easy to miss something you know wasn't good for you. Familiarity is comfortable, even when it's painful. But just because you miss something doesn't mean you belong there. Just because it once felt right doesn't mean it's right for where you're going. You've already paid the price of your pain. Don't pay it twice. You cried, you lost sleep, you doubted yourself, you learned. Let that be enough. Let that season close. Don't keep reopening wounds you were meant to outgrow. And if the same situation presents itself again, and it will, make a different choice. That's how you know you're growing. Not because life is easier, but because you respond differently when it gets hard. There's a version of you who didn't know better, who tolerated too much, who stayed too long, who didn't speak up. That version of you deserves grace. But the version of you today, that's the one who holds the pen now. You get to write the next chapter. You get to draw the boundary earlier. You get to walk away before the damage is done. That is your power. And it's a power you've earned. So stop trying to fix what broke you. Stop justifying what exhausted you. Stop convincing yourself it'll be different this time if all the signs say otherwise. You already know how that story ends. What you need now is a new story, one where you honor your pain by protecting your peace, one where you apply what you've learned, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Change is uncomfortable, but repeating the same mistake is exhausting. Be willing to be uncomfortable now so you don't stay stuck later. Say no to what feels easy if it costs you your growth. Say yes to what feels unfamiliar if it takes you somewhere new. Growth isn't about being fearless. It's about making better choices even while you're scared. Even when you're tempted. Even when it hurts. You've earned your wisdom. Don't waste it. You've seen the pattern. Don't repeat it. And the next time life brings you back to that same crossroads, pause. Remember what it cost you last time. Choose the path that leads forward, not the one that leads back. Because you don't just deserve healing, you deserve wholeness. You don't just deserve to survive, you deserve to thrive. And you won't get there by repeating what broke you. You'll get there by rising from it, wiser, stronger, and ready to walk in a new direction. Pain isn't automatically a blessing. Let's be honest about that. Sometimes it just hurts. Sometimes it confuses you, breaks you, knocks the wind out of you, and leaves you questioning everything. Pain doesn't come with instructions. It doesn't arrive with a clear reason or a timeline for when it will leave. And in the moment, it rarely feels like anything other than heavy. But here's the truth. Pain can become something more. No, not every pain is a gift, but every pain has the potential to be. That potential lives in what you do with it. It lives in the questions you dare to ask when everything in you wants to go numb. It lives in the choice to lean in instead of shut down. You don't have to call your pain beautiful. You don't have to be grateful for it. But if you're willing to sit with it, really sit with it, something happens. Over time, clarity begins to form. A pattern reveals itself. A lesson starts to surface. And that's when pain transforms. Not on its own, but through your effort, through your courage to turn inward and ask, what is this here to teach me? Because a lesson ignored is a life delayed. The longer you avoid the lesson inside your pain, the longer you stay stuck in the same cycles, the same regrets, the same emptiness. But the moment you begin to unpack it, everything changes. You realize the pain wasn't the enemy, it was the messenger. And you start to see that the discomfort you tried so hard to escape was the very pressure molding you into someone stronger, wiser, more grounded. There's a kind of wisdom that only comes from surviving what you thought might break you. And there's a kind of strength that only shows up after you've cried, questioned, reflected, and come out the other side with new eyes. Pain, when processed, becomes your greatest teacher. It becomes a map, a blueprint, a light that shows you where you were blind before. But make no mistake, this doesn't happen by accident. Growth is the reward of those brave enough to ask the hard questions, brave enough to slow down, brave enough to stop distracting themselves and finally look at what's been chasing them. It's not about romanticizing pain. It's about redeeming it. It's about saying, this may have hurt me, but it won't be wasted. I will not let this season end without learning something that helps me move forward. And the gift isn't just what pain teaches you. The real gift is what you become because of it. You become more empathetic. You listen better. You understand people's struggles more deeply. You lead with compassion. You stand firmer in your boundaries. You stop tolerating what drains you. You start protecting what matters. And most of all, you begin to trust your inner voice, the one that pain forced you to finally hear. Pain has a way of stripping away the noise. It removes what's fake. It cuts through the fluff. It gets to the heart of what really matters. And in that way, yes, it can be a gift. A painful, unwanted, but transformative gift. One that changes how you love, how you work, how you show up in the world. Not overnight, not perfectly, but steadily. So if you're walking through something heavy right now, don't pressure yourself to be grateful for it. Just be present with it. Let it speak. Let it show you what you've been avoiding. Let it guide you towards something deeper. And one day, not right away, but eventually, you may look back and see that the thing that broke you also built you, that the pain that silenced you once gave rise to the voice you carry now. This is the quiet miracle of growth. It doesn't scream, it doesn't demand attention. It happens slowly in the background while you're doing the hard work of staying open, of reflecting, of asking, what's the meaning here? What do I take with me from this? And when you ask that often enough, honestly enough, long enough, pain starts to answer. It starts to guide you, not like a loud teacher in a classroom, but like a wise whisper in your soul. So no, pain is not always a gift, but it can be. It can be the fire that refines you, the storm that clears the path, the weight that builds your inner strength. If you let it, if you dare to turn toward it instead of away, That is the work. That is the invitation. And that is how pain, unwanted, unwelcome, unplanned, becomes the thing that grows you into who you were always meant to be. You're not a passenger in your life. You're the driver. The question is, are you willing to take the wheel? Because here's the truth. Life will keep moving either way. Time doesn't wait. Circumstances don't pause. But you can choose whether you let them push you around or whether you show up and steer. No one's coming to save you from your own hesitation. No one else can rewrite your story for you. That's your job. That's your power. So stop drifting. Start driving. You've spent enough time reacting. Now it's time to respond. With intention, with clarity, with courage. You've heard enough advice. You've felt enough pain. You've seen the patterns. The next step isn't to wait for more confirmation. It's to act, to draw the line, to set the boundary, to try again, but wiser this time. Life doesn't happen to you. It happens through you. Everything you've been through, every mistake, every loss, every hard lesson has shaped the person you are right now. And the person you are right now is more capable than you think. You have insight you didn't have before. You've been through fire and you're still standing. That means something. That means you have what it takes. The question isn't whether you'll face pain again. You will. That's part of being human. But will you let that pain shape you? Will you use it as a map? Will you let it wake you up instead of shut you down? That's the decision only you can make. And it starts today, not someday when life is easier. Not when you have more time, more energy, more support. Right now, as you are, because you don't need perfect circumstances. You just need a decision, a shift in mindset, a willingness to say, I've let life toss me around long enough. I'm choosing direction now. I'm choosing purpose. I'm choosing to live with my hands on the wheel. So take the wheel. Steer your life in the direction that reflects your values, your growth, and your vision. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for a sign. You've already been given what you need. Now, it's up to you to use it. And if this message spoke to you, if something in you felt the truth of it, don't keep it to yourself. Hit the like button, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. What's one area of your life where you're ready to stop drifting and start driving? And if you want more content like this, make sure to subscribe. This is just the beginning of a new chapter, and I'd be honored to walk alongside you.